going to the Euros was previously, I guess, the biggest moment of my career. Now, the World Cup, I suppose you'd have to say, tops the Euros, although they're both fantastic tournaments. And also I feel going into this tournament that I've been with the team now for 2 years, been with the players for 2 years. I feel very much more at home, if you like, in the role, and very much more aware of what's needed and what I hope I can bring, and certainly what the players can bring. So it's something we're looking forward to enormously, and we're determined not to let the opportunity slip by without grasping it and making certain we have an effect upon the tournament.
Because you inherited the Euros, really, but this, for want of a better sentence, this feels like your baby.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but I didn't inherit more, of course, because I didn't qualify the team for 2012. Fabio Capello qualified the team for 2012, and I was very much aware of not the need, but the fact that the players who qualified for the tournament should really be considered for a place in the tournament. A lot's gone on since then, and I've had a lot more chance to assess players as well, because I've got to be honest, when you're working as a club coach, you see other players and you might even have an opinion about how good or otherwise they are, but you can't really assess players until such time as it's your job to assess them, and your focus is totally on assessing them. And now I've had 2 years, and this is the squad I've chosen. It's a squad I'm very pleased with, and you certainly won't hear any excuses from Stephen and myself if anything untoward happens, because we believe that we're in the right place and we're the right people to do it. Not that near, simply because the performances of the players in particular in these last 10 days in training has been so good, and there are so many that are obviously very, very keen to stake their claim, that I'd have to admit that it's not going to be an easy choice, and that's how it should be, that's how I expect it to be. So, of course, there are a number of senior players who, will undoubtedly feature, but there's a lot of positions around those senior players that are up for grabs, and at the moment everyone is doing their best to grab them.
What's your approach for tomorrow's game then, Roy? What's the sort of balance you're hoping to strike between putting out, if you like, your number 111 and wanting to experiment?
Well, I would defy anyone really to second guess my first 11 at the moment. 1, 2, it's a little bit strange, the game. I don't know how Steve feels about it. It'd be interesting to hear his opinion, but we've done so much focusing on so many things that we wanted to establish to make certain that when we go to Miami next week and the sort of real countdown for our matches in Brazil begins, that this game suddenly seems to have come out of nowhere. And when you're normally with an England team, you spend all your time preparing for this opponent. You talk a lot about the opponent. You talk a lot about how you are going to play against this opponent. I must admit, on this occasion, our work has been much more focused on June the 14th. But it's a game we're really looking forward to, and it's certainly a game that we're going to take very, very seriously, because I'm pleased to hear there's going to be another very, very big crowd there tomorrow night. And we're all desperate to leave England having left behind a good impression for our own fans.
So, can you give us any selection clues?
Well, unfortunately I can't. It's not because I particularly want to disguise the team, but the fact is I haven't told the team. We've had quite a few meetings, important meetings, but we haven't had the meeting yet where I actually tell the players the team I've selected, and that won't take place until lunchtime tomorrow. And as you know, I don't like to do it in the press before the players know.
In terms of potential partnerships, a lot's been talked about Wayne Rooney and Daniel Sturridge up front. I mean, what are your observations as to how that partnership has developed and flourished over the last year?
I don't think we've had the opportunity to see the two that goes many times as we would like, because quite often one or the other of them has been injured. It's one of many potential combinations, and what I can say is we're talking about two excellent players, two first-class players, and I've always been of the belief that when you've got first-class players who really don't have any particular weaknesses, there's never any reason why they can't play together. I sometimes think we complicate matters by suggesting that two good players can't play together because there are some similarities. I've never really subscribed to that theory.